Hello, hello, welcome back. I'm Claire, this is Purple Poppy, and as you can no doubt tell, you are at a different angle today. And the reason I've got you at a different angle is because I've got my sewing machine here, because I'm hoping that it's not going to jog the camera too much and that I can show you something different. So the first thing that I've got, I'm going to have to move the camera, hang on 1 second. Sorry about that. I just realised I put the camera down on top of my pile of fabrics. The first thing that I've got is this piece of coffee dyed cotton. And I'm bringing in this book from the other day just for measurement purposes. So I'm going to put my book in the middle of this fabric. And as you can see, I've got just over an inch around the edge. Now, because I want to turn this edge over, I don't want to do the work that I'm going to do in the fold over section. So I'm just going to take a pencil and I'm going to mark the four corners of this book on my fabric like so. Okay, and now I can get rid of that book, I can get a ruler and I can join my lines up so that I know where my working area is. Now, the idea for this video has come from lots of playing that I've been doing behind the scenes and some Pinterest videos, which then led me on to some YouTube videos. Now I've been playing with motion stitching with my machine. Now I do appreciate that not everybody has a machine, so if you don't have a sewing machine, this may not be for you other than pure interest. If you have got a sewing machine and it's something you've been thinking of trying, then you can, as it were, learn along with me, because I am far from an expert. In fact, I've not even done a trial run of this, so I don't even know if it's going to work. It might be a complete disaster, in which case you may never see it, or I may be really brave, as I often do, and share the disaster with you, because I think we learn often a lot more from other people's mistakes than from watching people doing things correctly. Okay, so also, of course, I'm not 100% sure that you can accurately see, because my camera's around the wrong way and I've got no viewing screen, so I hope it's all okay. You can now see that I've drawn round that book. I know exactly where my fold lines will be and I know what my working area is going to be. I'm just going to move my chair a little bit because I feel like I'm not in properly. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is move that coffee before it gets spilt everywhere. Now, I wanted to work in black and white and cream. So I've got this gingham. I've got this much tighter gingham. I've got this floral. I've got this lace. And I've got this hessian. So I've got, and these are all just out of my fabric scraps. So, you know, whatever colour or theme that you've got. What I've also done, let's move those out of the way for a minute, is I've done some stamping on fabric, which you've seen me do many times before, but I've actually fussy cut many of them. So we've got a bunny and some butterflies and a bird, and then I tore a postcard and I printed one of these invoices and I actually tore it in the wrong place, so I thought, well, we'd have two different pieces. So we've got all of these pieces as well. And what I'm hoping to do, note the word hope, is I'm hoping to put some fabrics on here which I will initially glue down to hold them in place to take them to my machine. And then I want to put my fussy cuts on, or some of my fussy cuts. And then I want to do some motion stitching, and then I want to put some more top layers on. So I'm going to stop talking now because it's probably very boring, and I'm going to have a bash at making this work. So it's basically fabrics and tearing at the moment. So if we line that up with our line, and we take that up to our line and snip and tear, get rid of them strings. Okay, I want to leave some gap, and then I think I'm going to put that piece there like so. Bits of thread and that on there, but that shouldn't matter too much. And then you see what I want to do is I'm basically making a collage, but I'm making a collage with fabric. That's my plan anyway. Don't know if it's going to work. Might be a complete disaster. That is going to be a top one if it goes on at all. And then like we can put this bird on there like that, and I think I'm going to take this big piece off, and I'm going to come in with the little piece, and I'm going to overlap it there like that. So yeah, basically collage but with fabric is what we're doing. And then I think I'm going to go for this one, and I'm going to do a small sort of rectangle on this one. Okay. And of course it's going to get quite noisy when I put my sewing machine on. Now I could do it in several parts and stop and start, but I'll be honest, I'm not really good at things like that. So I'm thinking that rather than doing that, I'm just going to carry on and do what I'm doing. And if the noise bothers you, then obviously you can just turn the sound off. See, now I don't want that there because of that. So I'm wondering if I move that up a little bit, and then I can bring this one down in and on like so. And then I think I'm going to move my bird so he's completely on that piece of fabric to one side, and I'm going to bring my bunny down low level like so. Okay, I think I'm going to pull this down, and I'm going to pull this further across like so. Okay, and then I want a piece of this hessian, just a narrow piece, I think. Remember, you know what I'm like, I will possibly totally change this, or even get it finished and decide it wasn't what I was meaning to do, and therefore I don't like it. Or it just came out rubbish and I'm going to discard it. I don't know, but we're having a nice little play, feeling in a really good crafty mood today. I was up early, I've done all my household jobs because I was out all over the weekend and yesterday, so I didn't do anything. House looked like a bomb site. So I'm just trying to decide. I think that goes under that one, and then on top of the invoice one below. And I think the invoice actually comes across a little bit further. So this is basically where we are, like so. Yes, I think so. So, I'm going to find a little bit of glue. And I don't obviously want the glue seeping through, but I don't... Oh, I have got some pins. Here we go. Let's use some pins. It's really weird knowing that the camera's that side and trying to work accordingly. But anyway, so I'm going to put a pin in the top of that big black bit. That big black floral bit. And actually, the bottom, I'll pin through the bunny. Like so. And then I'm gonna pin this one, this hessian, and then the hessian and the invoice. Well, that pin's a bit blunt, which is not good, but we've just about got it in there. And then I'm gonna pin through my bird and the gingham. Okay, and then we've got one last bit of invoice up here. Okay, so I'm thinking that maybe we're not actually going to use this, although I could actually put it under there that way, or we could even turn it sort of upside down so we've only got a little bit of it showing, like that. Or do I not want that? Do you know what? I don't think I do want it, because I don't want to be on an overkill here. Okay, so I need to lose my coffee. To make sure the machine doesn't knock it. Right, and I'm going to move this, and I'm going to bring my machine in like this. And I appreciate that the machine is probably taking up quite a lot of the screen. Now, when you do motion stitching, you really need to go down to the lowest stitch that you can, which on most machines is 1 or even a 0. Okay, and you need to take really your foot off. If you've got your sewing machine screwdriver or an appropriate screwdriver to hand, then obviously that's perfect, you can do that. If you haven't, then you're just going to have to go slowly and spin around all of the time. Okay, so I obviously won't talk while the machine's on. See, now we've got lift and spin round. I'm just at the moment sewing this bird on. So a bit of jiggery pokery, a bit of moving it around, but it will work. Just go nice and slow. Okay, so we've got our bird. Can you see? We've got our bird on, so that's now nicely attached. So I'm just going to rejig the rest of the fabrics, and I want to put the bunny on in the same way. Holding it with both hands. The last thing you want to do at this point is get a pucker. Come in all the way round and basically back on myself to get that ear. And then back round again. And then back down. The art is obviously to go slow, because the slower you go until you're proficient, the easier it is. And now we've got our bunny on. Okay, it's not the best stitching because it's quite a tiny thing, you know. I'm making excuses for myself now, but at the end of the day, what we really want to do is we want to be, well, I want here for this to be really scruffy. So I'm now lining my needle up with my pencil line at the bottom, turning my stitch back to one, and I'm just gonna motion stitch this now really, and I'm going to try and get some long stems with some like onion flowers on the end. So okay, you saw I lifted the foot up there, so I've got a long stem, and now what I want to do is I want to create like the centre. And then I'm going to come out to give me some like arms, if you like. And then I'm going to do another circular on the end of this. And then I'm going to turn it all the way round. And I'm going to come back down the line I went up. All the way back to that centre, and then I'm going to come out again, maybe not as far this time because obviously nature is like that. Turn it round, bring it back to my centre, and then I'm going to come out again. Make sure you stop with it in the middle. Come back down to the centre. Always stop your needle down. Spin it round again. Do perhaps another short one. middle down, back to the middle. So you get the idea. I'm just doing scruffy stitching basically. I'm going to come off this way. Okay, back to the middle. Make sure my needle's down. And I'm hoping that you can now see that I've got this, it's almost like an onion flower, I suppose. And then another one. Right. And now that I think I'm happy with that. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a nice and odd like nature. So I'm just going to come all the way back down this stem. Oh, I put my foot down, you see. You need your foot up. Okay, so put it up so and move the machine for a second so you can definitely see. So there you can see I've got my first scruffy flower. Okay, and that is what I'm going to be doing basically all of the way on this this stitching. And of course each line will form a bit of a picture, and each line will also hold down the fabrics that are below. So I'm going to now, I think, go up this Hessian area, and I'm going to try and create more of a like a seed bud flower. So I'm going to start at the bottom again. I'm going to drop, no, I'm not going to drop my foot because that's the mistake I made just now. Make sure your fabrics are lying flat. I'm now through the Hessians, so I'll pull my needle out. And the other pin. Right, and I'm going to stop there, just off the gingham, and I'm going to try and do like a seed pod. So I'll come round at a bit of an angle. And hope, yeah, that's not too bad. So then I'm going to come back down again to my stem line, and then spin it round and come back up again to the top of those, and then spin it round and try and get a nice round one again. Oh, take your foot up, Claire. Okay, that doesn't look too bad, I don't think. No, I think that looks quite good. So I'm going to come back down the stem now. And we'll pull this one out. and move the machine so you can definitely see. So you see now I've got this like seed pod, and this is really starting now to build up a picture. I'm liking it. So I think I'm going to join this stem around here, and I might bring another seed pod up here. I mean, as you can see, I'm only using basic straight stitch on a standard machine, except I put the stitch to just 1, and I'm not putting my foot down. That's it. There's nothing, you know, major going on here. Just a bit of bravery, really. Now I'm going to come really wide with this one. Like so. Oh, didn't have my needle down. Okay. And I'm going to come over this one. So now we've got these lines running on the inside of the pods. Oh, foot up. Spin it round and run another line up the centre. Okay. Yep. Now I am going to run straight down the middle here. Back to the stem. Now I'm going to stop with the needle down, and I'm going to run another one up the other side. Oh, no, I'm not, because I've got no bobbin cotton. So I'm going to pull that off. I'm going to move my sewing machine to one side because I think that's very noisy for you, and it's probably very joggy. But you can see, yeah, I don't know why I'm turning it around, it's because the camera's that way. You can see what I'm doing and how it's going to work. So I'm going to leave it there as I need to re-bobbin my machine. You've got a good idea of what I'm doing. You can go and have a play, and I'll come back and show you when it's finished. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.